Here it is, month 7. Let's see how we did. Recap and introduction of what it is we're doing here. This is month 7 of my MIGA case study site, my Making the Internet Great Again site that I started in January of 2021. This is a display ads site, and most of the content on the site, at least up to this point, is informational content. At this time, my goal is to get to 500 articles by the end of December. And while I definitely have some, monetary and traffic goals, I cannot control those. So really what I'm just focused on is 500 articles in 12 months. Let's talk traffic. So here's the screenshot of the number of users in July, 20,394. You can compare that to June, which was only 10,713. There's the views for the month of July, 26,495, compared to last month, which was 13,890. And here's my tracking spreadsheet, so you can see the users and page views as they have grown from month 1. You folks might find this interesting to see where the traffic is coming from. For the most part, it is the US, followed by the UK, Canada, and Australia. There's Google Search Console for the last 3 months. As you can see, it looks pretty healthy. And if this is stuff you like to know about, you can see the CTR and the average position. And right now, out of the 235 keywords that I have entered into SERP Robot, 76 of them are in the top 3, while 127 of them are in the top 10, 155 are in the top 100. And truth be told, there still are several keywords that are not popping up in SERP Robot, which is something I'm still working on, even though Google Search Console says I'm all good. For fun, there's my page experience numbers, 100% of good URLs, which was awesome because it used to be 0. You can also see that my Core Web Vitals for mobile have gone to green, as are my desktop. So I'm green and green with Core Web Vitals in Google Search Console at this time. And if you follow the channel, you know that I am using Leap on the site with Ezoic right now for speed, and the scores are in the 90s, which makes sense because Google Search Console is also green. So I'm not using any other speed plugins like WP Rocket, any sort of image like compressing plugins. Basically nothing except for Leap at this point. I will also say that I have taken very little action as far as addressing the technology like flags that are coming up in Leap, suggesting that maybe I change my theme or that I dump this plugin or that. I've done basically no CSS adjustments, pretty much out of the box for me. But again, my sites are fairly streamlined as it is, so it makes sense to me. There's the Ezoic revenue for the month. That's $304.91. And the average EPMB is down from what it was in May. It's hovering between $14 and $15. And there's my Amazon Associates commission income for the month of July 2021, which brings the grand total to $318.66 for the month of July. And I'll throw up really quick the screenshot of my spreadsheet so you can see just the progression of what the site has earned month on month. And if you want to look at it more closely, feel free to just pause or reverse. The site earned $318.66, but I spent $647.67, and the bulk of that was on Writer Access, which is where I have been purchasing content since about April. So the site has earned a grand total ever of $625.07, and I have spent $2,231.90. I am in the hole on this site, $1,586.83. So far in the month of July, I was able to get 44 new articles posted, which brings the total post count to 250 posts and just under 290,000 words. But let's talk about what can be taken away from this beyond just looking at the stats. Everybody loves a good income report, right? But beyond just learning what it is that the site earned, let's talk about what someone could do coming behind me, someone who is beginning, who is maybe watching this whole series for the first time. What can be taken from this? First, it does not require a dramatic investment in money to make this happen. This site isn't necessarily extraordinary, right? Like getting to 25,000 page views in 7 months, that's a great result, but that's not a million page views. And while I have invested money in the site, it was not a dramatic amount. And in fact, pretty much what is getting traffic now is the content that I wrote in the beginning myself and I didn't spend money on. Only in the last couple of months have I started paying for content, and that content is still ranking. It's not paying for itself just yet. Keeping it simple can work, right? There's lots of ways to make this happen, but if keeping it simple is what interests you, or maybe that's all that is possible because of your budget, it's possible. I'm using a free theme, very basic domain, basic hosting. I didn't pay for lots of plugins. I'm not using tables. I'm not using infographics. Using free stock photography. While I occasionally use Ahrefs, mostly out of curiosity, I'm not paying for the tool month on month. There are lots of great SEO tools, paid tools out there. I'm not using any of them. And maybe you could argue with me that if I had, the site would be just like over the moon. I've chosen to keep it simple. Keeping it simple can work. Another thing I think to take away from this is that the amount of content matters, especially for a display ads site. In the old days with a micro niche site, you could have done maybe Amazon commissions or physical products commissions and had maybe 10 to 20 posts like buyer's guides and made a lot of money. With a display ad site, that just isn't going to work. Anymore, it seems like to get lots of traffic, you have to have a lot of content. It's like Google wants to see how deep your site could go. So maybe if you had one post on your site that was the best article in the world about a particular topic, no website could do better than this particular article on that topic. But if you have no other articles on your site that are around supporting that particular topic, it seems like it will be hard for that one article to succeed. For folks who get started and write 10 or 20 posts and then run out of gas, I totally understand how that can happen. But so far in my experience, it seems like to get some momentum like this, you have to have consistent content being posted to the site, and as much as you possibly can. Does this mean that someone who's posting maybe 10 articles a month that they cannot succeed? And the answer is no, of course they can succeed. It's just going to take longer. If you want to have a display ads earning site that is doing really well, I think you just have to commit to spending the time consistently over a long period of time of getting content posted. And you say, well, how much content do I need? And I think the answer is pretty much as possible, so long as it is related to and relevant to the rest of the content on the site. Another thing I think I've taken away from this project is that, again, like I was just talking about, the keywords and the topics need to be as related as possible. I think in the past, especially with some of the other folks we see in our community, websites that were super broad and covered lots of topics could succeed and did succeed and maybe still have lots of traffic today. But for folks that have smaller sites who are just starting out, you're more likely to succeed if you stick with a topic as long as you possibly can, to go as deep as you possibly can before you start to branch out and cover other types of topics, even if they are probably shoulder topics or related. I think the risk is that we end up bouncing around from here to here to here to here to here to here to here and really fail to go deep enough on the topics to tell Google what your site is about and that your site is enough of an authority to get traffic on those topics. Now, how much is enough? I don't know exactly yet. And I think it's a moving target, to be honest. I think at this point, more is more. And I'm just gonna go with that until the evidence suggests otherwise. I definitely don't think it matters how good your site looks. My site is not pretty. The logo is free. It's basically the name of the site in a different font. To get from 0 to 25,000 page views does not require you investing any time or money in logos or design or templates or anything, unless that's something that is really relevant to your niche or interests you. Another thing that I think people get hung up on is that they don't feel like they are the best writer in the universe, and that's why it is that they cannot create content. So if we had to choose between like the best written article in the world or maybe the best possible niche, topic, and keyword, between those two things, if you were going to invest your time in and working on those skills, I say without a doubt at this point that the keyword research and the topic and the niche are like 99% of the work aside from your on page. And then the content, the actual information, in there, obviously it's important, but it is not the end all. So for folks who are like, I need to focus on the writing, I mean, of course. And I say this because I know that many of my articles that are getting traffic probably aren't perfect, right? They aren't the best. They could definitely be better. And I'm going to work on that, right? But if your writing is what is stopping you, I think the takeaway from this site is that it doesn't have to be a hurdle. Ooh, I forgot to mention the drawing board. This is a new podcast that was created by Niche Safari Chris, and he invited me to be like the co-host. The link is in the description. If you like to listen to people talk about blogging, that's totally for you. What you'll see on the screen right now is a link to the playlist. This is the Niche Site Cage Fight. It is a head-to-head 15-month-long battle that I am doing against and with Niche Safari Chris. If you haven't caught those videos and you love blogging income reports and case studies, you should check it out.